Alright, we're getting ready to do another video. Everything should be fine. I think the camera's set up. Let's just take a look at... What? Hello? What? 4 new cards? Already? Well, guess I better get on this. Good evening, darlings and deviants. My name is Lucy, and I'm just a little loony. So, with Lorcana's release just around the corner, I decided that it would be a good time to take a look at all of the cards that have been revealed so far before they reveal even more and make my job even harder. So, I'm going to go through each and every card in alphabetical order for the ink color and numerical order for each of the different cards, and give them a rating from 1 to 5 top hats based on, if I think they're good, if they're playable, and my 100% objective, subjective opinion. This is 100% definitive and will be exactly how good the cards are at release. Don't at me. Anyway, without further ado, let's start the show. Starting off, we have Hey Boat Snack. He's 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore for 1 cost with support. Whenever this ally quests, you may add their strength to another chosen character's strength this turn. This card is very cheap and very good, however, he is only 1 strength compared to a lot of the other cards at 1 mana, starting at 2 strength at now, and comparing it to other cards that have more impactful keyword abilities. I think this card would normally be like a 2 or 3 out of 5 if it was in a different color, but considering it's in amber, I'm going to move it up to 4 for 2 reasons. 1, support allows you to trade in additional cards, so say you have a weaker Glimmer out on the board, he can buff it up just by questing and doing the game normally. 2, there's a lot of cards in amber specifically that benefit off of, being small and coming in, and they let you draw cards and generate more advantages, so being a 1 cost with a relevant ability is very good. Hey will get 4 top hats from me. Next, we have Stitch. New dog. For 2 strength and 2 willpower and 1 lore, you have to pay 1 cost for a Storyborn hero alien, and that's it. He's one of the cycle of 1 ink, 2 twos in this whole format. I think Stitch is going to be extremely good. I'm going to go ahead and give him 5 top hats for now, specifically because he shifts into one of the most powerful cards in the game, in my opinion, and he is just so adorable. I love Stitch. Bias will come forth here. 5 top hats out of 5. Next up, we have Timon, Grub Rustler. For 1 cost, you get a Storyborn ally with 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, and when you play this character, you may remove up to 1 damage from chosen character. I think Timon may be a little bit of a playmaker in certain decks. He's not like super tough and strong, but considering it's amber and they like some of these cheaper characters, I think Timon may see a bit of play. Depends on the other characters that we get that are cheaper. So I'm going to go ahead and give Timon 3.5 out of 5 top hats. He's pretty good. It's going to be... He may see a slot into the Stitch deck. Really depends. Next we have LeFou Bumbler. For 1 strength and 2 willpower and 2 lore, you gotta pay 2 costs. And he has Loyal. If you have a character named Gaston in play, you may pay 1 less for this character. So here's the thing. We don't have a Gaston yet, so we don't know how good LeFou is until we know how good Gaston is. If Gaston is good enough to play, then LeFou is good enough to play. And LeFou is already okay on his own. Being able to be a 2 mana, 2 lore, 2 ink, 2 lore, for my magic player's coming out here. The 2 lore is very good. Because he might die immediately afterwards. However, if Gaston is good, he's pretty cheap to come out, and if he's not, then at the very least he probably got you some form of advantage when he left play. Specifically from a card we'll talk about later. I will give LeFou, for now, 3 top hats out of 5, but if we get a good Gaston, I'll move him up to 4. We'll go 4. No halfsies yet. Next up is Minnie Mouse Beloved Princess. For 2 ink, you get 2 strength, 3 willpower, and 1 lore for a Dreamborn Princess, and that's it. She's a vanilla and she's a workhorse in what she does. She's very crucial in the princess deck because she's a low-cost princess that is pretty tough. I would put her, we'll say, 3 top hats out of 5. I know I'm giving a lot of middling ratings, but none of these cards are really strictly bad. They have at least something going for them. The one issue I would have with her is 3 willpower is a pretty decent breakpoint, but princess typing really puts it over the line for me. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and say 3 out of 5 for this one. Next up, we have Mickey Mouse True Friend. For 3 ink, you get a 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore storyborn hero. He's a workhorse, he's a vanilla, and he does what he does. I think he's pretty great for 2 lore. I'm gonna go ahead and give him the same rating I gave Minnie, which is 3 out of 5. He's kind of boring and he trades with a lot of stuff that comes after him, playing them at 4 or 5 mana. 4 or 5 ink, rather. But I do think that 2 lore is very important, and hey, sometimes you just need a vanilla workhorse to fill out your deck. Next up is Maximus Relentless Pursuer. For 3 ink, you get 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, for a Dreamborn ally with Horse Kick. Whenever you play this character, the chosen character gets -2 strength this turn. I really like Maximus as he's a card that enables very good trades. With him and Hey Hey, you can very quickly remove some of the more threatening cards on your opponent's board. The only issue with him is his lore count is a little low, so you want to use him aggressively, but there's nothing really that synergizes with him at the moment besides, lowering things power. Being able to facilitate good trades is fantastic, but he's kind of middling on his own. I think I'll give him 3.5 top hats out of 5. I think he's great, but you really need other cards to make him sing, and your opponent needs to have exerted cards, or you need to be able to exert them yourself, which you probably could in some instances, but you need to be able to do that, and that makes him a little worse on his own. Next up is Hades, Lord of the Underworld. For 4 ink, you get a 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, storyborn villain deity with a Well of Souls. When you play this character, return a character card from your discard to your hand. This card is fantastic. Being able to recur your character cards is fantastic, and he shifts into an amazing linchpin of one of the coolest decks, in my opinion, in the format. The one issue with this card, and I believe his upgraded version, is the fact that he does not have he cannot be inked, and that's a bit of an issue. If you get too many of these, they clog up your hand. However, being able to recur some of your most powerful playing effects, I guess we can call them enters the battlefield effects, makes this very good. And being able to recur some of your combo pieces. I would say this guy's a solid 4.5 top hats out of 5. Yeah. Next up is Ariel on Human Legs. For 4 ink, you get a 3 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, storyborn hero princess with this character can't exert the sing songs. So that is not a non-zero cost because songs are probably one of the most powerful cards in this game. However, being a 3 power and 3 strength, 4 willpower is very good. That's very tough. And being a princess as well and inkable is very good. 2 lore is a lot and it's hard to get her off the board. 4 is a very relevant breakpoint because it means your opponent needs a lot to get rid of it. I would say Ariel gets another 4.5 from me. She's very good and she's a workhorse, and if she wasn't a princess, I would probably say she's closer to 3 or 3.5, but that princess tag gets her bumped up for me. Ooh, next we have Moana of Motunui. For 5 ink, you get a 1 strength, 6 willpower, storyborn hero princess with 3 lore, with We Can Fix It. Whenever this character quests, you may ready your other princess characters. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. This card is amazing, because all of your princesses can go ahead and quest first, then she quests, she's hard to kill because she's got 6 willpower, and she untaps all the rest and they can either trade with your opponent's board, or they just can't be attacked the next turn. I'm going to go ahead and give Moana 5 top hats out of 5 because I think this princess deck is very good. The only main issue with it is finding the companion color. I think Sapphire is currently the combo with it, but we'll see once we get more of the set revealed. Next up, we have Stitch Rockstar. For 6 ink, you have a 3 strength, 5 willpower, Bloodborne hero alien with 3 lore, and Shift 4. You may pay 4 ink to play this on top of one of your Stitch characters. Now remember what I was talking about Stitch? This is why. He also has Adoring Fans. Whenever you play a character with cost 2 or less, you may exert it to draw a card. I'm going to go ahead 5 top hats out of 5 for Stitch Rockstar because drawing cards is so crucial in this game, and being able to do that and develop your board at the same time is phenomenal. In addition, he quests for 3 lore. That's huge. And only having to shift for 4 is great. And Stitch by himself is only 1 ink. So if you have to Stitch on top of Stitch in 1 turn, that's only 5 ink, and he costs 6 on his own. That's just value. If we get other Stitches in other colors, this might be interesting to see like how that evolves, but for now, there's plenty of glimmers that cost 2 or less, so I think this card's going to be solid. Next up, we have Hades, King of Olympus. For 8 ink, you get a 6 strength, 7 willpower, Floodborn villain king deity, and with 1 lore, and he has Shift for 6, unless you pay 6 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Hades, with Sinister Plot. This character gets +1 lore for each other villain character you have in play. Honestly, this card can win the game on its own. 5 out of 5 top hats. He's a build around. There's a lot of solid villains in this game. They have their own good lore, and he has 7 willpower. Outside of cards that are like hard removal spells or bounce spells, this card's going to be hard to remove. So I'm going to give this guy 5 out of 5. It's just an easy one for me. Next, we move into the actions with Control Your Temper. For 1 ink, you get an action with chosen character gets -2 strength until end of turn. I'm going to give this 1.5 out of 5 top hats. It's good. It lets you trade with something that you probably wouldn't be able to. However, it's a card, and cards are very valuable in this game because card draw is so rare. So, in that case, I don't see this card seeing a lot of play. Like, if they reveal any other good actions for this color, I don't think this is going to see a lot of play. 1.5 from me. Next up, we have Healing Glow. For 1 ink, you get an action, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. I'm just going to go ahead and give this one just 1 top hat. Yeah, we're going to stick with 1. Because 2 damage might be good if you're removing it from one of your very crucial characters, but a lot of the times, unless you're actively trading, this card's not going to be super good. Again, cards are super valuable, and they need to be able to, at the very least, recur themselves, or be able to trade for multiple of your opponent's cards. This doesn't facilitate that as well as it should. So, 1 from me. Next up is Be Our Guest. For 2 ink, you get an action song. A character with cost 2 or more can exert to sing this song for free. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4 out of 5 top hats. 1, being a song just makes it very powerful. Like, I can't say enough how good songs are as a mechanic. And in addition, there's a lot of necessary characters in Amber decks. Like, both Stitch and Hades need to shift. They don't need to, but they really want you to. So being able to find those is crucial. And with the Princess deck, Moana is key. So finding the pieces you need when you need them is very good. And just from a value perspective, the top 4 cards of your deck are bound to have some form of character, and it gets you what you need when you need it. So 4 out of 5 from me. Next is Just in Time. For 3 ink, you get an action with you may play a character with cost 5 or less for free. I'm gonna go ahead and say this one's not as good. Yes, it can get some of your bigger glimmers on the field, but not being able to be inked itself, there's a lot of cards you want in that spot that are just better. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one I think there are use cases for it. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. I don't think it's terrible, but there's not too many that I want to do from this. It only starts getting good if you have a 4 or a 5 that you want to put out for lesser cost. And even then, it's like, you get it out a couple turns early, it makes it more vulnerable to removal. I think this card's not that good. Next up is Part of Your World. For 3 ink, you get an action song that lets you return a character card from your discard to your hand. I'm just going to go ahead and give this one 5 top hats out of 5. Like once I said before, there's a lot of crucial cards in Amber. Like you want your Stitches, you want your Hades, you want Moana, and you need, if they get removed, you need a backup plan. You're not always going to draw the other copies of it, so having another 4 copies in your deck of essentially the cards you need is phenomenal. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 5 out of 5. Next up, we're moving into the items with Dinglehopper. For a 1-cost item, you get Straighten Hair. Exert it to remove up to 1 damage from the chosen character. I'm giving this card 3.5 top hats out of 5. The main reason for that is it has a lot of good synergies with the Item Slingers deck. So I like those kind of cards because they enable more combos, but also by itself it's just okay. If you're being more aggressive or more mid-rangey and you're actively challenging a lot, I think this card's very good because over time you can get a lot of value and potentially trade for 3 or 4 of your opponent's cards. It's also why I was so down on cards like Healing Glow, because that's 1 shot you get 2 and it costs the card on the field. Like, Dinglehopper can remove theoretically infinite damage. But I also think that that's a pipe dream. So 3.5 from me. Next up, we have Lantern. For 2 cost, you get an item with Birthday Lights. Exert it, you pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. Again, this is a card I like a lot more than some of the actions that we've seen. It is kind of similar, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3 top hats out of 5. The synergy with the Item Slingers deck is there as well, just being an item and being very good. Cheating out some of your bigger cost Item Slingers, for instance. The only issue I have with it is it's a card, and reducing the cost by 1 is not always super relevant. And also, I'm not sure if this works with Shift or not. I might have to ask about that question. Really noted. Anyway, I will put a edit here if we have information on that and if I learn. But if it does work with Shift, I think either way I'm still going to put it at 4 because it's very good, works with ramp decks, works with Item Slingers decks, but is not super impactful otherwise. And that should do it. That should be all of the Amber cards that we've seen so far. And next time I'll be covering the Amethyst cards. But do you think I got any reviews wrong? Do you think that I had anything that I was just completely out of left field about? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe if you liked what you saw, because it lets me know that I'm doing a great job. Anyway, thank you all so very much for watching. And until next time, au revoir! Woohoo!